Hello, party people. So, on the off chance this turns out to be a complete clusterfuck, which it looks like it already is, given I'm dropping 70 plus, 60 plus percent of my frames, I've decided to record this one. So, if you're watching in the future, or if you're watching now, please do one of those based internet supportive things. Rant, subscribe, follow. Well, they're down there. I hate having to tell you. It irritates me. In any case, I'll get the pinned comment posted. And I guess I might as well read that thing because that makes more sense. Please do those internet-based supportive internet things, financially supportive things at Ko-Fi.com and Redbubble. Thank you. Redbubble.com/shop, I believe it's Ardent Party. Redbubble.com/shop/ardent-party. Yes, please, thank you. Okay, so tonight, a couple of things. Uh, the thing with Nayib Bukele, I did not expect, but it does actually bring up a good point to talk about. But before we get there, we are going to start here with the poll. And, of course, as usual, I don't have things at the size that they should be that I'd like them to be, so we will start here. So today's last week's technically Fandom Friday poll was, which captain would you rather serve under? And of course the questions were Captain Kirk from the original Shatner Captain Kirk, of course, Captain Nemo from the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen version, Captain America from the comics, or Captain Rex from the Tartakovsky Clone Wars. And we had 2 votes, and it was split 50-50. And no commentary. I remain slightly unhappy that no one wants to have nerd chats anymore. Oh well. In any case, and I apparently have messages. I will look at those later. So, we will jump over, of course, to the usual, going through the... Did you mean Bleeding Fool? No, I did not mean Bleeding Fool. That's funny. Every time that I open Bleeding Cool, it asks me if I meant to go to Bleeding Fool. No, I don't wish to support you. Let's see. So, zipping through the various things. Absolute Justice League. Absolute Evil. Comic books. What is this one? A1 and Deadline relaunched together. Is A1 Deadline? Jimmy Kimmel's back. Yeah, I suppose we should talk about that. That's irritating, but it is what it is. Okay, so from about 6 hours ago, give or take, only hours after Sinclair announced that the late night host would return to its ABC affiliate stations beginning tonight, Nexstar Media Group followed suit, with Jimmy Kimmel's Jimmy Kimmel Live also returning to its stations tonight. We have had discussions with executives at the Walt Disney Company and appreciate their constructive approach to addressing our concerns. As a local broadcaster, Nexstar remains committed to protecting the First Amendment while producing and airing local and national news that is fact-based and unbiased, and, above all, broadcasting content that is in the best interest of the communities we serve. Well, fact-based and unbiased. By putting Jimmy Kimmel back on the air, you have proven that you don't give a flying fuck about that. But, of course, we'll just skip along to Bleeding Fool, because I don't really want to deal with the whole Kimmel thing. Other people have covered it, and I have no interest in doing politics on what should be a relaxing show. So, yeah, I'll try to keep the politics out of it as much as I can. Little hitch there, though, I do have a story about a politician coming up. And I see I have at least a couple of viewers, so please, if it's your first time in chat, do make yourself known. Say hello, say hi. Send me money even if you like. Otherwise, let me just clear that so I don't miss any messages. Otherwise, enjoy the show. Let's see, what have we got here? The original art behind DC's new Teen Titans. I don't think I really want to buy original art that belongs to DC. From Al Capone Vampire to Dead Inspector. Is anybody really interested in Al Capone as a vampire? I'm not. I think the vampire thing is still tired enough that it's going to have to be... Okay, I need to alter my sizing. Oops, wrong button. Sorry, folks. Bear with me, difficult technicalities. Need to re-alter my sizing again because I've just got too much black space. GETTR is in. What? No. Politics. Boo. Two T's. And hisses. Anyway, good evening. How are you tonight? I'm doing quite good, actually. Oops. I've overstretched. One moment. I went and did a bit too much with the old Alt stretch button there. Okay. I think we'll just live with it for now. Okay, that's good. And leave it there. Yeah, I'm doing quite good. GETTR, I hope you're doing well as well. And of course, I hope all of you watching now and in the future are also doing well. Let's see. James Gunn is addressing the latest DCU Batman casting rumors. Well, let's see who's rumored. That is Brandon Sleaner. Don't know. Maybe. I could maybe see this guy as Bruce Wayne. Depends on what he was in, though. Let's see. Gunn was asked point blank about the possibility of 1923 actor Brandon Sleaner being cast as Batman in the growing DCU. Gunn was being interviewed by the Ringerverse, was asked about his mention of 1923 and if that was a hint for the upcoming Bruce Wayne. Okay, I see what you're doing. It's just... Gods, will you people please stop jerking James Gunn off? Ivan Reitman Films. Number 2 was Dave? Really? Better than Stripes? What the hell is wrong with you people? Mandalorian Grogu trailer. We have that later. Charlie Sheen calls Charlie Kirk's assassination this generation's JFK moment. It really bothers me that somebody who should be as far out of touch as Charlie Sheen is actually that astute when it comes to political events. Kind of makes me wonder if he's got someone in his ear. Let's see. Sweet Revenge brings Jason Voorhees back with classic Friday the 13th gore and 80s vibes. Oh no. 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 Why? Oh, this is cute. Who convinced Pamela Anderson to turn her 1996 box office flop into a new series? Back in 96, veteran actress Pamela Anderson, then riding the popularity of her role in Baywatch for 5 seasons, tried unsuccessfully to channel her popularity into films with a movie based on Dark Horse's Barbed Wire. Originally written by Chris Warner in 1993, the movie was a flop, yes, because I don't think it particularly honored the source material very well. Now, Entertainment Weekly announces that she and her 2 sons, we might have something decent going there, are going to produce a TV show based on the same property, and it remains to be seen which new actress will be cast in the role. Sydney fucking Sweeney. Pamela Anderson revisiting cult classic Barbed Wire, bringing her sons along for the ride. Anderson and her adult sons Brandon Thomas Lee and Dylan Jagger Lee. Dear God. I will say, though, that the fact that one of her kids is named Brandon Lee is nice. I hope he cosplays as the Crow every year for Halloween. Have formed production company And Her Sons Productions, whose first project will be a TV version based on the story of Dark Horse's comics 1990s character, who she played in the 96 action flick. For those of you who don't remember, happen not to be old enough to remember, or have managed to repress it from your memory, Barbed Wire isn't 1,000% terrible, but it's not something you want to pay to watch. GETTR says excitement factor equals 0. Yeah. I like the idea of the next generation starting to get into productions and things, but I'm willing to bet they're not as young as you might think. I remember the joke, or the riddle being, or the joke rather, yeah. If Pamela Anderson breastfeeds her babies, does the milk come from plastic bags? I remember that joke being mid-90s, late 90s. So, I mean, these guys are at least in their 20s, mid-20s at least. Yeah. Deadline was the first to report the news and noted that Anderson won't be returning. No, really. 60-year-old Pamela Anderson won't be turning in a role as an action heroine. Fuck you, bleeding fool. You fucking idiots. The character Barbed Wire is the creation of Chris Warner and originated in the Dark Horse comics series. So this is a shot of the character, which, offhand, I'd say was probably patterned slightly off of Anderson in the first place. Let's see, 1993. Appearing in Comics Greatest World, Steel Harbor in 1993, the company was also putting out a comprehensive volume collecting every mainline Barbed Wire comic, plus bonus material called the Barbed Wire Compendium in February. Okay. It only became a cult classic. Sorry, guys. Something in my eye there that time. It only became a cult classic based on its alleged campiness years after it went to video. It wasn't campy. It was never... No. If you watch this movie was made with all the seriousness in the world. This was meant to be Pamela Anderson's Blade, or... yeah. They weren't fucking around. They weren't having fun. It was made to be a serious movie. If you can take it seriously, I would question your mental fucking state. I mean, I remember, I think I probably read this comic, the Steel Harbor comics. I read a few of them anyway. The film took a number of liberties from the comic. No shit. Instead of the present, the film was set in the dystopian future of 2017, after the Second American Civil War. Steel Harbor was the last free city that had escaped the jackboot of the country's new rulers. Barbed Wire ran a nightclub in Steel Harbor, secretly aids freedom fighters who helped smuggle fugitives across the border to Canada. This may be a nod to Anderson, who was born in BC. Yeah, nobody is smuggling fugitives from the U.S. into Canada unless they're actually already actual evil fucking criminals. Didger. Well, they tried to make Queen Latifah the Equalizer, so... Yeah, I have so many issues with that move. Not least of which is the fact that there's a clause in Queen Latifah's contract that says her character cannot be killed without her permission. So it kind of makes you think she knew going in that it wasn't going to be a good thing. Yeah. And of course they kind of waffle on about the movie. If this all sounds familiar, it's because Barbed Wire is a very loose remake of Casablanca. Loose is one way to put that, yeah. Absolutely slutty would be another way to describe it. Yeah. If this... Okay, we'll do this last paragraph. If this new project based on the Barbed Wire comic is really going ahead, we'll only be able to determine clearly if it's worth anything when it's broadcast. And we can only hope this time they'll avoid mistakes like exclaiming, "Don't call me babe," in ways as forced as the 96 movie did, or depicting a woman we thought we were supposed to be rooting for casually slaying a guy solely for complimenting her. And we should hope they don't make it sexless. Well, I doubt they will. I don't think Pamela Anderson is brain dead. I don't think she's stupid by any means, but I don't think she's anywhere near brain dead enough to think, yeah, let's make it completely sexless, because sex wasn't what got me popular. Yeah, I'm reasonably sure Pamela Anderson is far smarter than, say, Scarlett Johansson when it comes to understanding and acknowledging the effect of their looks. Let's see. Anything on Fandom Pulse that we want to talk about? Oh, look. Pedro Pascal degeneracy. Freeren. I keep being told that this is worth watching. This Freeren thing. And I keep forgetting to even look into it. So I'm actually going to write it down this time. And, yeah, I'll have a gander at that. Let's see here. D&D creator Robert Muntz calls Wizards of the Coast a postmodern robber baron. It's a good call. EA is in talks to go private with $50 billion value at WOF. I didn't realize they were gone public. Pete Davison calls on public to give Pedro Pascal time to adjust to fame as advocate for child murder and destruction. Okay, let's have a look at this, because this is interesting. Pete Davidson calls on public to give Pedro Pascal time to adjust to fame as advocate for child murder and destruction of Christian society. Just a repeat of the... oh, wait, no. As the Fantastic Four actor is advocating for child murder and the destruction of Christian society. Fandom polls coming in hot from the look of it. During an appearance on Theo Von's... excuse me. During an appearance on Theo Von's This Past Weekend show, the two were discussing how Hollywood will build up people and then subsequently tear them down. Amidst this, Davidson brought up Pascal. Look at Pedro Pascal right now. Fucking 2 years ago, he's a hard-working, great actor. Everyone was like, he's worked so hard and has been a struggling actor and blows up so fucking hard. Everyone's like, daddy, 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 daddy. And then a year later, he's like in everything now because he's hot and big. And everyone's like, go the fuck away, dude. He continues, it's like, what the fuck, dude? It's also just like you got to give someone time to adjust to that new level of fame. Like, he's been banging at it for 30 years and he's learning how to go get a cup of coffee or like deal with... Oh, fuck you, Pete. Speak fucking English. Okay. Let's talk about DiCaprio's new thing. So, The Man Who Was Almost There, while Leonardo DiCaprio's performance in One Battle After Another finally delivers on his ultimate potential as an actor. This is from IndieWire, so they are probably going to suck his dick very hard. DiCaprio has made a brilliant career of playing stunted man-children. Yeah. Maybe not quite that much, but we'll see. Excuse me. I'm not sure what PTA's masterpiece, or what PTA is in this case. PTA's masterpiece forces its lead actor to finally come of age. Sure. Following essay. I'm not reading a fucking essay. IndieWire. Jesus Christ. Nope. I need better sources. Screen Rant. Challenge My Goat. The greatest action movie of all time. Sure. Excuse me. We noticed that ads aren't being displayed. Ads help keep content available for free and support the contributors who create it. Adjusting your ad blocking settings helps sustain quality content. How to allow ads on this site? No. Okay, so this is Anthony Bresnikan, journalist and novelist who's been covering film, television, and books for over 2 decades. Okay, so you're a newcomer. Let's see. My specialist expertise lies in blockbuster franchises, so it's my pleasure today to present the greatest action movie of all time. That's a big fucking claim. This movie sounds like a hot dumpster fire of leftist wet dreams. You're talking about the DiCaprio thing? So, Let It Go is this. A, an iconic lyric from the Disney princess musical Frozen. B, an actual quote Sylvester Stallone's Rambo snarls while holding his knife to the throat of sadistic sheriff in First Blood. C, me urging you not to even try to challenge the claim that this is the greatest action movie of all time. D, all of the above. Head down to the comments to sort it out, tough guy. It's A and B. Yeah. I actually remember the scene in First Blood. Yeah. He does say let it go twice. So, some decent bona fides he's managed to prove there. Yippers, comrade. Okay, it's hard to separate Rambo's first screen appearance from all of the character's later movies. If you are going to say that First Blood is the greatest action movie of all time, I'm going to... I believe the term is cockslap you. Because First Blood is not even an action movie. It's a drama that has action in it. Yeah, it's not an action movie. It was never written to be an action movie. Any more than the original Rocky was written to be a sports movie. The original Rocky was a drama. Yeah. Let's see. Before the sequels turned Rambo into Randy Macho Man crossed with an M. Oh, for God's sakes, no. It's a great movie. It's an awesome Sylvester Stallone movie. But it is not an action movie. Calling First Blood an action movie... Yeah, vulnerability. At no time in an action movie should the protagonist be emotionally vulnerable. Listen for the click. Gods. God. Okay, what kind of bullshit have you got for his Entertainment Weekly? The Witcher star Liam Hemsworth breaks silence on Geralt recasting as stars prepare for their final season's exclusive. I don't care. I also don't care that he was a Hunger Games actor. Former child star reveals super rare disease forced him to quit acting, told not to talk about it. Let's have a look what this is. Oh, this guy's familiar looking. Brandon Hammond. What was the series? Space Jam Waiting to Exile, Menace to Society, Mars Attacks. Yeah, but no, he was in a series. I'm sure of it. Super rare autoimmune disease called Castleman disease. Never heard of it. I've seen this kid in something, and don't think I've seen. I know I haven't seen Space Jam, and I've definitely never seen either Waiting to Exhale or Soul Food. Okay. What the hell was he on? No. Let's find out. It's going to make me crazy otherwise. Soul Food, Mars Attacks, The Fan. That's what I know him from. Okay. That makes sense. Now I understand it. Okay. That's a shame that he had it. Oh, actually, I did mean to talk about the disease too. Let's see. I was diagnosed with a super rare autoimmune condition called Castleman disease. For Hammond, I had all these chest pains. My eye was flushed out red. Just all types of physiological things were happening to me that I could not explain. Traveling all over to Baltimore National Institute of Health. Could not figure things out. Just before the diagnosis, he and the rest of the team behind the 97 Modern Classic Soul Food had an unbelievable night at the NAACP Image Awards. The movie took home 4 awards, including one for Hammond and another for Outstanding Motion Picture. But he was fighting for my life basically just a few months later. He made just a few on-camera appearances over the next few years. Now, 41, he said people have asked him what happened, but he's usually given vague answers because he didn't want to talk about it. He alleged that his agents didn't want him to get into it either, which is kind of retarded because nobody loves a sob story more than Hollywood audiences. His agents supposedly told him to keep it under wraps. Well, you had bad agents, dude. He's speaking out now as he's creating a reunion documentary called Sunday Dinner, The Soul Food Reunion, which was inspired by similar tributes to 90s favorites Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Friends. They made a Friends reunion show? Ugh. What a waste of money. Marvel Zombies. James Gunn addresses whether Brainiac is the villain in the second one. Daniel Fishel shows off shocking Dancing with the Stars injury. Don't care. Major Peacemaker twist. Also don't care. Also, when it comes to Peacemaker, I really don't care that Amy Schumer claims that John Cena was actually inside her during the sex scene. Penn Badgley. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel Live. Boycott ends. Stupid. It wasn't really a boycott. If you want to boycott Jimmy Kimmel, turn off your TV. Right. Natalie Dormer won't promote Sarah Ferguson drama The Lady in wake of leaked Jeffrey Epstein email. Fair. Minnie Driver won't return to The Witcher after Blood Origin. Ice-T gets his ass beaten in terrifying Law & Order Special Victims Unit season premiere. Oh man, I can't believe Ice-T is still acting. Also, I can't believe he thinks anyone's being fooled by all this dye. Let's have a quick look. Even the actor was shocked by the abrupt twist. What the fuck is going on? Latest season of Law & Order, SVU, is proving that nobody's ever safe, not even series mainstay Ice-T. Now, don't get me wrong. I actually like Ice-T as an actor. He's kind of half decent. I remember back when he was singing things like I'm Your Pusha, which actually is a pretty good anti-drug song. Yeah, he actually started off singing against drugs. Crazy, huh? The actor who spent over 2 decades as Finn Tutuola. Excuse me. In a clip from the show's premiere, this season's premiere, he's walking New York streets when he appears to spot a woman in danger. Sergeant quickly turns his gun on the assailant, ushers the victim over to his side, only to discover that the duo are in on it together. Before he could process what's happening, he's down on the ground with both of them towering over him. Yes, the procedural is kicking off the season with one of the show's reliable leads as one of its victims. Okay, don't care. This is a terrible, terrible choice for Disney, by the way, and ABC in general, to re-platform Jimmy Kimmel, especially in light of the not an apology that he gave. Yeah. It's going to bite you in the ass. That's all I'm saying. It's official. Spider-Man is now part of the DC universe. This will be interesting. And fuck you, CBR. Spider-Man is now part of the DC universe. By John Dodge. Okay. Marvel Comics' most famous wall crawler officially exists in the DCU, just not in the way fans might have been hoping for. As noted by industry and fan account discussing film on Twitter, the latest episode of Peacemaker, Ignorance is Chris, has officially made Spider-Man a canon part of the DCU. The revelation came during a moment in which Vigilante crosses paths with his alternate universe self. Upon realizing that they are indeed the same person, the two vigilantes recreate the iconic pointing Spider-Man meme, which the pair immediately reference by name, confirming that Spider-Man is still a popular comic book superhero within the DCU. Okay, so Spider-Man is not canon to the DCU. Assholes. Let's see. Didger, I used to like SVU. Haven't watched in years, though. Rage quit and never went back. Yeah, my ex used to watch it a fair bit, and of course, because I was in bed next to her reading, I would occasionally get the very anti-male, anti-white messaging that it came up with. Yeah, okay, so you... like, this is not new. The crossover, each referencing each other, is not unusual. In one of the Marvel movies, I think somebody asks if a character, do you think you're Superman or something? Anyway, we're coming now to the thing that I really wanted to talk about the most, which is good because I'm about halfway through the show. This is from Nayib Bukele. Yes, that Nayib Bukele, the president of fucking El Salvador. Unpopular opinion, Rogue One is actually a good movie. Okay, it's not an unpopular opinion because I agree with it, and probably 95% of actual Star Wars fans agree with it too. It is a good movie. People who have no love for Star Wars have watched that movie and gone, yeah, it's pretty good. And it's not just because it ends on such a down note. It's because it makes sense. And it's got a great plot leading all the way through it. But the reason I'm bringing this up, and I will revert to the cover, because, I had to. But reverting to the cover here, the reason that I wanted to talk about this, also, that's actually not such a terrible Photoshop job I did after all. It looks like crap if you get too close, though. But the reason I wanted to talk about it is this. Is it a good thing or a bad thing to have a nerd for your head of state? On one hand, being a nerd supposedly means you're naive. If there's any word that I would not use to describe Nayib Bukele, it's naive. Or soft. By the same token, or flipping that around rather, if you have a nerd for a head of state, you have someone who is potentially idealistic, very willing to talk openly and honestly about the things they like, the things that they prioritize. And especially in the case of someone who loves Star Wars movies, you have someone who sees a very clear delineation between good and fucking evil. I'd kind of really love that in my own head of state at this point. So yeah, I'm kind of down with this. I actually really love the fact that he said he showed that he loves Rogue One. Now, to be fair, it is quite possible that this is not actually Bukele himself, that this is someone running his account. If that's the case, I'm still comfortable with it because that means that he's got a nerd running his social media. Aces. Since I'm here, take the opportunity to do a little self-promotion. Let's see. Let's have a look at some of the... You are correct, sir, though I'm not sure that's an unpopular opinion. The world's most controversial statesman never fails to disappoint. Shut up, Carl. You don't know shit. Not unpopular at all. One of my favorites says Sam Davis's Shoe of Doom. Still, this meme. Yeah, this is one of the things about real nerds. We're quite happy to laugh at the shit that we love. That's almost as funny. That meme is almost as funny as the one of the Kenner toys of the burnt skeletons of Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. Rogue One, Star Wars. Yeah, you have Cassian Andor, Jyn Erso, Orson Krennic, Chirrut Imwe, K2SO. I don't think that one should be K2, but we leave that alone. Baze from Kingsford. I'll do you one better. Solo is a good Star Wars movie. No, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe. Yeah, see, right there. You quote the prequels. I have to call in to doubt your Star Wars bona fides. I disagree. I don't think Solo was a good Star Wars movie. I think it's an okay movie. If it had been set in a different universe, probably far better. If they had treated it a little more like a parody, especially the part with Lando being a fucking mecha sexual, yeah, that would have been a better choice. Let's see. Brandon Fugel. Agreed, it is a great movie. I wouldn't go that far. It belongs in the top 3 with A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. I still have a significant amount of love for Jedi. I'm sorry, it's the green lightsaber. It's Luke choking that friggin' pig guard, the Gamorrean. I can't not love Jedi. Ewoks and all. I know they were supposed to be Wookiees. I don't care. Because canon, Wookiees wouldn't have been cannibalistic. Which is weird because they're supposed to be, herbivorous in almost all the lore. And yet, for some reason, a meat bait traps Chewie. Yeah, maybe they're opportunistic carnivores. Didger says Solo sucked. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. As a Star Wars movie, if you could take it and put it in a different universe and drop all the Star Wars associations, it would probably be a decent movie. Again, decent. My favorite Star Wars movie. Really, EJ Last. I mean, there are worse choices. It was a 3. Rogue One's perhaps the greatest Star Wars movie we have? No. And if you watch both seasons of Andor? No. If you watch both seasons of Andor and then watch Rogue One, you will find that you feel that you have watched the obvious conclusion of a terrible individual. Andor was a much better character before they made a show about him. I guess Steve Semmelweis is not a fan. Let's see. Rogue One is all about Kyle Katarn's tutorial level. When you single-handedly capture the Death Star plans for the Rebellion but aren't even mentioned in Rogue One. I should have kept working for the Empire. Yeah. Not unpopular at all. In fact, it is the only good Disney Star Wars movie. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Let's see. Didger, that movie face planted the moment we learn how he gets the name Solo. It never recovers. Yeah. like I say, if you could take the Star Wars associations away from it, how is this take unpopular? It's one of the only watchable Star Wars movies in recent decades. Absolutely agree. Very overrun. First Amendment primarily restricts government from attention and speech. Yeah, I'm actually surprised it's got such a high rating. But then again, Disney may have paid for that rating. It's hard to know nowadays. Dr. Groiper says I stick to the first 6. Yeah. Dark Theory suggests they watch Snake Eyes. No. What the hell is wrong with... Why would you wish that on anybody? Anakin Skywalker, not even slightly unpopular. On the other hand, The Last Jedi is a flawed masterpiece that gets better every time. Ooh. No. Let's see. Everyone who loves the original trilogy loves Rogue One and Andor. No, that's not true. I am someone who absolutely loves the original trilogy, and I like Rogue One, and I can't even really say I enjoyed Andor all that much. Excuse me. I will agree that Rogue One is probably amongst the best things that Disney has done with Star Wars. Amongst. What else have we got here? Any good memes in here? Yeah, I mean, come on. This one English. This one sequence in Rogue One at the end, the Vader Hall fight. I mean, I'm watching that in theater and I'm going, yes. Fuck yes. I basically had the full body equivalent of a nerd chubby at the times. There's a mental image you probably didn't want on a Friday night, huh? Let's see. Dude's favorite episode was Attack of the Clones. Gods, no. Rogue One, Star Wars story. Why is it red? First off, clashes terribly with that outfit. Second, red's evil. No. Let's see. Didger says I haven't enjoyed anything Disney Star Wars that I've seen. Rogue One actually isn't too bad, and it does kind of fill that niche between OT and sequel, or between prequel and sequel. And you know, it's not a terrible movie. It's the best way I can describe it is like this: in the same way that Captain America: The Winter Soldier is a spy movie set in the Marvel universe, then Rogue One is kind of a war drama set in the Star Wars universe. It's much more serious, much more adult in tone than the rest of the movies. Rogue One, una historia de Star Wars es la única buena película reciente de Star Wars. Okay. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is... I don't know enough Spanish. Yeah, one of the worst parts of Rogue One was Forrest Whitaker's character, and Disney for some reason is absolutely in love with that character. He's shown up in fucking everything since. All the animated stuff, engagement farming at its finest. Everyone liked Rogue One. No, not everyone did. Lots of people hated Rogue One. I remember when it came out, and loads of people absolutely hated it. Also, yeah, no, okay, never mind. I'm misremembering. New trilogy, on the other hand, was absolute garbage. Yeah, I will agree to that. Now, before we start watching the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, I have... sorry, give me a moment. I'm going to actually turn off my mic for a moment. Okay, sorry about that. Back again. Before I start the Astartes, or before I play the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, I want to play the trailer for Astartes 2 again. I did do it on the... Goodness, was that Monday? Tuesday? Monday, on the media review. But I did want to play it again because I think it's worth watching isolated just in its own space here. Okay. Let me make sure this is actually the right... I've actually got it blown up enough. I don't think I do. I'm going to wait for that to come up. Or maybe just encourage it a little bit so I can change the sizing again. I do apologize. Oops. Come on. There we go. Oh yeah, I had that way too small. And we'll swing in. It's the only thing I have left now are 2 trailers on YouTube anyway. Speaking of YouTube, actually, we do have some news about YouTube the last little while. YouTube has started to allow people to have their old accounts back if they were banned during COVID or over the 2020 excuse me, over the 2020 oh come on, what's the word I'm looking for? Election. There we go. I'm very tired tonight, I think. Too much traveling. But yeah, YouTube is allowing people to apply to have their old channels back. Several of my friends have kicked up stink. Personally, I never really lost anything because at the time I wasn't making a hell of a lot of content. Though I am getting close to my 4 or 5 year. I'm not 100% sure. Also, speaking of which, I did want to say that I have discovered that I have, 26 followers on this channel, plus I believe it's 250? One moment, I'll check the other channel while I'm thinking about this. Oh, wrong button. It helps if you actually open a video from your other channel. Let's see, 230. So, all told, on Rumble, I have 200 and, I believe, give or take 280 followers. Which means Rumble is now actually edging out YouTube, where I have 270. And because of that, I just want to say, first off, thank you very much for supporting me here on Rumble. If you also follow me on X, thank you very, very much for being part of the 1,000 plus over there. You know, it's been a while since I've actually said thanks, and it's not because I'm not grateful, it's because it's kind of hard to figure out where to fit that in. And also, with all the various different platforms that I'm on, it's very difficult to pick which one I want to celebrate and to determine whether I'm better off. Oh, hello, Bradley Wilder 82. Hi, I'm Bradley Wilder. I do custom art and animations for streamers. Get some fire new prices. I'd love to share. Hit me up on Discord. Yeah, I won't be doing that. And, yeah, goodbye. Sorry, nobody advertises on my stream but me. Or you can pay for the privilege. Dickhead. And, let's see. Already muted. Delete the message. Yes. Okay, good. Okay. So yeah, now that slight interruption's out of the way, let's watch Astartes 2, the official teaser trailer. And of course, as usual, I will interrupt from time to time. Many brotherhood, united in purpose, we are the shield that slays. I have to say, I absolutely love the very militant nature of Warhammer. I do understand there's been some fall off and some fan and company dissonance in the last little while, but the overall aesthetic of Warhammer very much appeals to me. The absolute brutality of this particular fight scene really appeals to me. That it's very visceral, and the sounds are just perfect. Didger says, there are no kumbaya moments in Warhammer. No, there are not. In the grim dark of the far-flung future. yeah, there is no kumbaya. I think the closest to kumbaya you get is wah from the orcs. I do love that they punch that in. I missed this the last time, but I had to talk about this spot right. I think it's here. Yeah. This. Let's see if I can actually get a freeze frame from there. This jet packed down a tunnel thing. Oh dear God, do I love this. I mean, it's dynamic, it's action, it's an amazing, the tilt of the angle, it's a perfect shot. If you want to get somebody who loves action movies and get them excited about something, you put stuff like this in your film. This is fucking amazing. And I will point out, Sayama Peterson, the guy behind Astartes 1, is involved in this project. I don't think he's the chief artist this time, which would be indicated by the fact that the art style is significantly different. And this isn't criticism, it's just an observation. The art style in this one is more lush than the very minimalist art style of the first Astartes. That's not necessarily a bad thing, especially considering there are exteriors, things like that. But one of the things that made the first one really, really good was that it was stripped down, it was very simple, and it was... because it was so stripped down and simple, it really played up. It really gave the ability to emphasize the action in it. That the moment right before this, where you see the orcs and the Astartes beating the crap out of each other, it loses something in a way because it's so well lit, so detailed, but by the same token, it's exterior, so you kind of have to make allowances there. This shot just blows my mind every time I see it. And I do love the orcs. So, yeah. Now, I'm not enough of a nerd to know all the different chapters, but I do know what's bloody. I believe that was the Avengers mechanic. That little bit with the chainsword there. Yeah, right here. Well, first off, I didn't realize that was a hand and not splashing blood. A handy little spot to pause, I guess. Yeah, I didn't realize that was a hand the first couple of times I saw this. But damn, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, it's something I definitely want to see as the second Astartes anyway. And we'll let this play out. A slightly less, or slightly more disappointing trailer. Yeah, Astartes 2, Suffer Not the Alien to Live, 2026. And, well, this gives you a very clear indication of what I tend to watch the most. I do still love watching the comic story in full story, even though Benny has been gone for some time. Rip Benny. And this fella here, conservative vibes. He does, usually I think it's about a day, about an hour ago he did one. It's roughly a daily, once or twice daily compilation of memes and comedy stuff with a bit of commentary from him. Not bad. Ironically, I have become the I get my news from memes guy. Okay, now, this is a bit different. I haven't watched this trailer in its entirety yet. There we go. I haven't watched this trailer in its entirety yet for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to give you guys my first impressions of it. That, by the way, was a fucking challenge, considering the entire internet that I look at is full of this thing. Didger says, sorry, bud. Rumble's shitting the bed again. I'm missing everything. Thanks for the stream. Hope to see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Okay. Okay, well, I'll have the VOD for this up in about an hour or so. So you can catch what you missed, Didger. So, future Didger. Thanks. And I may actually break this up now into trailer reaction here. So, we'll start from the top. And let's see what we think here. Okay, very first impression. What the fuck? Why is he in the Razor Crest? And why does it have yellow stripes? No, you don't go backwards. This is wrong. Also, you need to do a little bit better puppet work. He's not looking down the end of that, and even if he was, he'd be looking at the very top of that sand dune. Now, the fact that the supposed flipped angle of what he's seeing is this way, I'm guessing this isn't actually what he's seeing. So, considering what it looked like he had before was either a scope or some part of a gun. Look, little member berry people. And Sigourney Weaver. Who is apparently part of the rebellion. Sorry, that's New Republic, I believe. Okay, good. Subtle. She's apparently an officer of some kind. If this turns out to be Mos Eisley, I won't be shocked. And I wouldn't be particularly surprised if this is parts of the Mos Eisley set, to be honest. Which is good. I actually like that they do that. But with so many different species, why would you have anything other than a flat top stool? Set design, kind of paying attention to stuff like that. Still doesn't. Just bear with me. Right here. What in the earthly fuck is this? That creature is not built for swimming. And, for the record, he's capable of throwing himself around with the Force. There is no reason whatsoever that he shouldn't just be sitting on top of the water, skimming along. I do believe that was meant to be Zeb from Rebels in the hallway fight.
Yes! Impressive.
The fuck? The fuck?
Yes! Impressive.
Also, this really crappy 50s retro title intro, this bugs me. Like, really, you're not even trying anymore. It's the only part of this entire image that says anything to do with Star Wars is the actual words Star Wars, because it's still in the right font. He's still wearing the paint marker that the Mandalorian kids used to use to compete with each other. That's his weapon?
Good shot, baby.
Why are they still calling him baby? Yeah, this film is not yet rated. No, and it probably shouldn't be. And, of course, as I mentioned earlier, this gives you a bit of an insight into things that I watch. Yeah. So we'll come back to the cover image here, which, of course, is irritating. So I'll just put the cover image up. And, yeah. I enjoyed the first season of The Mandalorian, especially the first couple of episodes. After that, it kind of became not The Mandalorian anymore. So, yeah, this is just Disney being Disney. I don't particularly care for this. And I have a feeling audiences are just tired of it too. The people who were actually interested are no longer interested. So, yeah, it's, how did Randy Jackson put it? It's a no from me, dog. Yeah. Anyway, folks, Didger having already dropped out, and apparently all of my frames going with him. Hopefully you're all doing well. You continue to do well, and I'll end it there with... oh, I keep forgetting, and it's because I don't like doing this. The whole call to action thing where I ask you to, support me in some way, shape, or form. Ideally, you can send me money through Ko-Fi. Big thanks to Simon JJ, who does do that. One of the best supporters I've ever had. The Meringatang gang, you guys... Small. Every little bit helps. Small. But yeah, the Mandalorian and Grogu, trying too hard. That's exactly what I got from that trailer. And that's part of the reason I wanted to play the Astartes trailer and then Mandalorian and Grogu. The Astartes trailer is an improvement in some ways and a different in some ways. Whereas the Mandalorian and Grogu, there's no improvement. It's just more of the same, only there's more of it. I find it impossible to get invested in something like that. And I think that's probably going to be the big problem for Star Wars going forward, is a lot of the old fans are just not invested anymore. And the new fans, I can't imagine you're getting a lot who aren't just going, ooh, shiny. So, yeah, it's... The heart has been sucked out of Star Wars, and it hasn't been replaced with anything. Other than that, folks, I'm going to cut it off here. I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. See you tomorrow for... Oh yeah, I also should probably tell you what my schedule is like for the next few days. Tomorrow, I will be doing my regular chill stream. Come back on Monday. The chill stream will happen on this channel, Ardent Plays. Come back on Monday on the main channel for Monday Media Reviews. This week I'm doing... What am I doing this week? Is it Superman this week? It might be Superman this week. This week it'll probably be Superman, yeah. Because it's out on streaming. And cheap enough I can afford it. So I'll be doing Superman, the new James Gunn Superman movie this week. We'll see if all the hype or all the hate is appropriate. I really hope it's not, because Superman is one of my favorite characters. But if it is, it is. Tuesday, of course, will be Terra Nova Tuesday. The plan this week for Terra Nova Tuesday is to look into the... Terra Nova Tuesday, for those of you who don't know, who don't follow me a lot, is the series where I look at Newfoundlandia, where I look at parts of Newfoundland culture, folklore, history, etc. Because that's where I'm from, and it's the place that my heart belongs to. Wednesday, as always, or as usual of late, I will be doing the Casino Royale live read. That'll happen on the main Rumble channel as well. Let's see. Thursday. Generally, Thursday is kind of a toss-up whether I do anything or not. Excuse me. A lot of the time I find that when I do have to travel, it ends up being on a Thursday. So, generally, by the time I get home, I've spent 9 hours driving, and I really don't want to sit in anything and talk to people. No offense. But other than that, and of course Fridays is Fandom Friday. So I will be putting up a new poll, which I need to remember to do. And that will be set up for next week. Other than that, I think I've got everything covered. If you like what I do, please do consider subscribing or sending a Rumble rant. Consider sending me a payment through Ko-Fi. Consider picking up some merch. I will warn you, the merch is not geek-friendly. The merch is very political. Though there is some geek stuff in there as well. Other than that, I do believe I'm done. Yes. I didn't really talk much about DiCaprio tonight, but yeah, can't really find good articles from, well, pop culture journalists. That is something I will ask again. If you guys have a source that you would like to suggest to me, by all means suggest it to me. The best way to get a hold of me is on X. I'm generally on there about an hour and a half a day, if not more. Other than that, I think I am in fact finally done. Yes. So, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Good night.
Hello, party people. So, you've probably just finished watching one of my videos, and I appreciate your time. That said, if you're watching on YouTube, because they've changed the way they evaluate their views, I need to ask a favor. You need to commit some form of engagement in order for me to have it count as a view, because for some reason YouTube no longer thinks watching something counts as a view. They need some form of engagement to prove you actually watched it. So, like, comment, follow, share, subscribe. Any of those things would be appreciated. Other than that, if you want to support me, and this would help me with endeavors across all the platforms I do my content creation on, you can look at Ko-Fi, which is right there in the ticker right at the moment, or you can go over to my Redbubble and pick up some merchandise there. The designs that have been flashing on screen for a while are examples of the designs that I have. You can pick these up on a variety of different products. And yeah, I'll probably end up leaving them up. Though, from time to time, I will put up something that will be time limited. Some of the designs, the Walrus King especially, for example, I intend to leave up all the time because I just love that, and my Ardent Plays logo is for my other Rumble channel. Other than that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again. Until lands become lions. Bye-bye.